I'm Matt from Untrained Terrain, and welcome. Today we're talking about the disappearance of Madeline Soto. Today our story takes place in Kissimmee, Florida. Kissimmee is located in central Florida and has a population of about 81,000 people. The Kissimmee area is known for being the home of Walt Disney World, Universal Orlando Resort, Legoland, and of course, last but not least, SeaWorld. I don't know if I'd want to be known as the home of SeaWorld. I mean, those poor, tortured, and suffering animals. Do you ever see blackfish? Seriously? Now, living in Kissimmee was Stephan Sterns and his girlfriend Jennifer, and Jennifer had a young daughter who was 13. Her name was Madeline Soto. Madeline Soto was born February 11th, 2011 to her mom Jennifer, and her stepdad Stephen wouldn't come in until a few years later. On February 26, 2024, Madeline Soto went missing after being dropped off at school at 9 a.m. by Stephan Sterns. Stephen said he dropped her off about a block away because she was going through a phase where she was embarrassed of her parents' cars, and he said he watched her walk to school and everything was fine. Now, when Jennifer called the school would say that Madeline was never at school that day. She never showed up. Now, Stephen and Jennifer would go to the police to file a missing persons report the next day. And when they went to the police station, the police would ask for their phones so they could look through them for evidence, which, of course, they gave up their phones to the police for that reason. Now, when they were looking through their phones, they may have found a few things on Stephen's phone that was concerning, so they brought him in for an interview. And when they were interviewing him, they found out a couple things.
So safe to say you'd be the only male driving that Lincoln?
Presumably, yes.
I want to get back a little bit to you saying she's not allowed to have boyfriends or anything like that.
She can have crushes. She likes them. That's fine.
All right. Have you and her ever exchanged, do you guys exchange text messages? How do you guys communicate?
FaceTime. She'll FaceTime me at night when I'm not around before bedtime to say goodnight. Talk. Sometimes we don't even talk about anything. We'll just sit there doing our own thing and just with each other's faces on the phone. Just spending time,
What happened? So the deputies made a comment. So what happened to your phone?
I have no idea what happened to my phone. I was pushing off doing this update for a while and ended up trying to do it. I don't know what the hell. My head being in the state it was, I wasn't paying attention. I ended up somehow doing some sort of option that updated the OS, but it ended up wiping my phone at the same time. Even just now, the phone that my dad gave me and set up for me, I literally just pulled it out of my pocket and the sucker was reinitializing again. So I don't know if it's just me and technology right now, or I'm just not paying attention, or...
Did that happen to your phone, or how many times do you think you updated your phone?
I think I tried to update it. I don't know what happened.
Okay, and from what I understand, that you gave the deputies consent to look through your phone. You did, okay. And you voluntarily gave it to them so they could bring it here to do the extraction and stuff like that. Okay. What do you think was on the phone?
Text messages, emails, phone stuff.
Pictures?
Oh yeah.
What kind of pictures were on there? I'm going to be brutally honest with you. There's your phone. And I'm pretty sure you know what some of those pictures are about. You're a very intelligent person. And I don't want you to discredit yourself by saying you don't know about all the pictures that are on your phone. You understand what I'm saying?
Alright, the first question is if I can get your first and last name and spell them both out for me.
Stephan Sterns, StephanSterns.
Alright, so Stephan, you seem very emotional right now. Explain to us.
I dropped her off. Everything looked fine when I drove away. It's the last time we saw her. We're just scared. We just want her home.
Have you, like, literally put boots on the ground, went out?
Yeah, I even went out with the cops where I had dropped her off. And we looked all up and down the road, all along the communities, and there was nothing helpful. None of the cameras were pointing the street. Nothing, which in 2024 was surprising. A living nightmare. It's a living nightmare. Day started off like any other, and I just want to wake up.
Now, the Soto home had 4 rooms in it, and Jennifer rented to 2 tenants who each rented the rooms separately. So that would leave 2 rooms for Jennifer, Stephen, and Madeline. And Madeline had a makeshift room in the living room, but she wouldn't often sleep here because she was said to have separation anxiety, so she would often sleep in the same room as Stephen. During the past year, Jennifer and Stephen's relationship was on the downhill, so Jennifer had a room to herself, leaving 1 room for Madeline and Stephen. Now, police would interview Stephen for hours, mainly about his relationship with Madeline, and he would deny anything in regards to having anything to do with the disappearance of Madeline. Stephen wasn't just your regular guy. He was described as introverted and weird by those who knew him personally. As a kid, his parents would move a lot, and he grew up on a farm, but he was described as childish in nature, unhygienic, and addicted to shopping. He used to work in real estate, but eventually he got a job as a cast member at Disney World. Now, Stephen would no longer live in the same home with Jennifer and Madeline because he moved to Newport, Florida with his father for work. But he often visited, occasionally once, twice a week, and he would stay with them. Madeline's school friends described her as being withdrawn and sad. Regularly, Madeline was a happy, vibrant child who loved animals and music. But at the same time, she was obviously confused, as any 13-year-old girl would be, about sharing the same bed with her mother's boyfriend. Now, police really had a hard-on for Stephen at this point, and why wouldn't they? After what they recovered on his phone, the CP, including pictures of Madeline, including pictures of Stephen and Madeline. I mean, it's just revolting and disgusting. Now, Stephen had obviously been lying to police about his relationship with Madeline, so what else was he lying about? And they really tried to figure this out. According to Stephen, he returned home on the evening of the 25th, which was Madeline's birthday, after staying with his parents. She wanted to have Stephen there at her party, but he didn't return home till around 8:30 that evening. Now, that evening, Jennifer told Stephen she just took a bunch of sleeping pills, and she had to go to sleep early because she had to get up early for work. So she sent Madeline to sleep in Stephen's room with him. Now, Stephen and Madeline would get up around 7 a.m., they would have breakfast, they would get ready, and they would leave, and Stephen would drop Madeline off for school. When Jennifer woke up, nobody was there, so she went off to work. When she returned at 11 a.m., she would return home to find Stephen just there, hanging out by himself. Now, Jennifer and Stephen told police that the reason Madeline would sleep in the same bed as Stephen is because she had separation anxiety and couldn't sleep alone. Now, detectives checked in on Stephen's story, and they would find a lot of evidence that didn't line up. CCTV of license plate recognition software would show that Stephen was not in the places he was supposed to be when he said he was. Now, footage would show that around 11 a.m., Stephen was by his home throwing trash out in a dumpster, and police would later recover this trash and find that in it was Madeline's backpack, her laptop, and other personal belongings that she had for school. Now, Stephen was interviewed again, and he stuck to his story that he had no information on Madeline's whereabouts and he had nothing to do with it. However, police had enough evidence to charge him with first-degree murder, and they took him in custody.
So the living situation with them, I'll be honest, seems weird. It's weird to me. She's got a bedroom downstairs. What's kind of the mindset or the thought process, the communication you've had with Stephan about, you know, she's not going to sleep in her bed, but you guys are going to sleep in the guest bedroom?
So
a lot of grown-ass adults can't hide an affair with somebody who doesn't live with them, let alone somebody who does live with them. So at a certain point, I do believe you became aware of what was going on.
No.
I do believe that a reasonable person, and I consider you a reasonable person, right? Do you think you're a reasonable person?
Yes.
Stephen was identified on the side of the road on Hickory Tree Road on February 26 after someone saw him on the news. and when police went to the area, they found Madeline's body in the woods nearby. Now, police and the prosecution could never come up with a solid motive. The only motive they could come up with was the fact that Madeline was going into puberty and the fact that maybe she missed a period and Stephen thought that this meant she was pregnant with his child, so he had to get rid of her. And Stephen would later go on and plead not guilty to all charges. And his trial is set to start on May 5th, 2025. I just wanted to say thanks for watching, and if you like what you see, like and subscribe for more.